What's up YouTube, Matter. So we are back today for a nice discussion about the Set 7 Japanese meta and what sort of decks you are going to expect to see when it comes over to the English side. I am going to be showing example lists throughout of what's currently been topping in the deluxe circuit, because this is where I've gained all my data from on this. And I also will address the elephant in the room, and I will not be covering Ibisu, mainly for the fact of it is a Japanese only deck due to being locked to Monster Strike, and it's something that I've not really looked into myself, so I can't properly explain a deck that I really don't see and we won't see on the English side. So let's get started, and going to start with everyone's favourite in Youthberg. So Youthberg, as of set 7, got really strong due to the fact of Tempest in combination with the Grade 1 Witch, which actually gave the deck a plussing engine and honestly really strong meta presence. It is very good at field removal at the same time due to said Tempests. But if you notice, looking at the lists that are around, that they are very little lacking on the grade 2 side. So decks that do end up focusing on being grade 2 have a higher chance that the Tempest itself isn't actually going to remove its units. So looking at the likes of Magnolia, which is very grade 2 reliant, does actually have a really nice matchup into Youthberg. So that proves that it's not an unbeatable mess and you can counter it. The next popular deck on the Japanese side is, unsurprisingly, Gravidia. So Gravidia's been in the meta since DBT04 on the Japanese side, and we adapted it on the DBT03 side, and that was with the Gravidia World stuff. And whilst the English side does dip back and forth between pure Gravidia and Gravidia World with how much people like it, how much people don't like it, JP is very much stuck to the Gravidia World side with a focus on a Combine Rusher. So obviously Combine Rusher is a recurring unit for the drop zone for the deck that gains power based on number of orders in the order zone. So you are still applying pressure without relying on the retire side of Baka Burrito, which obviously needs 3 retires to actually be a threat. But you've still got the fact of, obviously, you've got Shergo for returning orders, you've got Bobble Mine to help with the damage starvation people sometimes do end up doing. So there's bits and bobs you can very much work into the deck. But it's a very long-lasting deck, and at this point, only way to if you needed to hit it would be to directly go for the meteors at this point, because due to Combine Rusher, hitting the Baka Burrito doesn't really hurt it that much anymore. Next up on the list is one that we're going to be seeing very shortly alongside set 7, which is going to be Dragonic Overlord. So Overlord for the Japanese side has had a promo Harbinger for goodness knows how long now. And with that now coming out on the English side on the set 7 release, as it's in the Boost PR pack campaign, English side is going to see what full powered Overlord actually looks like. For those that haven't seen what Drag Racer Harbinger does, he's got the skill of Continuous. When it's discarded from the hand for the cost of your Vanguard's ability with Overlord in its card name, it counts as 2 cards. And when it's discarded from your hand due to the cost of your Vanguard's ability with Overlord in its card name, you can call this card to rearguard circle in the back row, and if you called it, it gains 5k until end of turn. So being used as the discard 2 cost for the Overlord's really nice, but it being a recurring unit on top and then becoming a 13k booster, really nice. Adds extra bit of pressure to the deck, and being a recurring unit on top, just so good for the deck. The next popular deck up that's still being seen to this day on the Japanese side is Maha Nirvana. So Mahanirvana, people thought may have got phased out when they started to spoiler that we were getting a new Nirvana in Nirvana Jiva. But it ended up with Nirvana Jiva being a bit more peace reliant than people liked, and there's no actual good count. It's not a good resource deck. Like, you're using up your soul a lot, you're using up your counterblast a lot, and there's no recursion yet for that deck. So people ended up staying with the Mahanirvana, and it's still putting in a lot of effort. We have got the engine of Amelia to also give the option of speeding past grade 3 if you are going second to go straight into Maha to help turbo the deck out, and keep up with the current grade 3 kill turn meta that everyone seems to be on with the other decks. But you've still got the Retsujis for consistency, Arcs for the extra draw power, and then finishing up, you've still got good old Esperidia for 4/5 attack turns, just keeping up the pressure. Still a very solid deck in the meta, and don't think it's going to go anywhere for a long time. Then, next one on the list is Seraph Snow. So Seraph Snow is very much the control deck, we'll call it, of the meta, focusing on imprisoning your opponent's stuff and obviously gaining power to your front row with Pure Light and crits if you hit big enough numbers. This did dip down a bit, obviously, as we got to fields actually starting to clear themselves a bit. But now we're moving on to the very Youthberg focused, which doesn't clear its rearguards as much. Seraph Snow can actually come back and still apply a nice little bit of pressure. Plus you've got the facts of Pure Light takes 2 from Soul to put into the prison, which for Youthberg it's literally you're taking their grade 3s off of them. So filling up their grade 3s into the prison, if they're going to have to either overcall, which doesn't add up well, or they leave the grade 3s in the prison, which then makes the following Pure Light turn easier to hit the 10 in prison. All in all, same old deck it's always been, really. No real updates for it. Then we're going to move on to the 2 Lyricals that came out with Lyrical 3 that are still showing up a fair bit in the meta. First one being Lutetia. So, for those that haven't seen what Lutetia does, because obviously she's only releasing in the English sets as of this Friday coming up, Lutetia's all about a restanding Vanguard if you've got the 4 curse plays in Soul, but you're also plussing at the same time due to her rearguard support. Main one being her triple A in the forms of Overflow, Happiness and Notoria, who lets you one place, check top 3, choose one card amongst it, put it in your soul and put the rest in the bottom of your deck in any order. So you're helping to build up your soul a little bit to combo off with your curse play that cool stuff from soul. But then you've also got Eureka as well on top of that to then bounce this and then do it again next turn. You can also utilise the soul to actually pay for Eureka, so you're constantly going to be able to bounce your front row, keeping it off the board. You do still have your Melty plays, obviously, because Melty is going to be a long time staple for most Lyrical decks. But then you've also got the on-hit pressure from the grade 1s that let you search for your order cards, which can be either your curse plays, or you can search for Elementaria Sanctitude if you really want that perfect guard search. You do have to be wary of Elementaria Sanctitude in Lutetia decks though, because obviously if you're using that, you then can't use your curse play blitz. So it does come down to paying close attention. And then rounding out the decks, we have got the other Lyrical deck in the forms of Michu. So obviously, Michu's really good in the meta due to the fact of Knock No actually riding onto your Vanguard as a grade 1 for the turn, and you're then switching off your opponent's effect draws and effect fronts to gain the extra power. Plus you also got the Meteor not the Meteor, but Cannibals, we're not Meteors for this deck. Cannibals that actually gives 3 lots of 10k when your Vanguard attacks. So it does apply really big numbers really quickly to the board pressure. You do have to be aware, because obviously this does rely on your opponent actually being grade 3 to do half the stuff. So going first isn't the best for this deck, but you've still got lots of pressure anyway. The deck comes with really good deck compression as well, for the fact that you've got so much searches, and then you can filter your meteors back in. You can filter your cannonballs back to your deck, not meteors. We are definitely not playing Gravidia here. It is very much similar playstyle to Gravidia as such. Just we do get a Vanguard swap in the middle of it, and it's less reliant on blowing up your opponent's board. But that is what it's currently looking like in the Japanese meta. As I said, Abisu is very much becoming a problem deck over there, but with not having enough knowledge behind it, I can't properly discuss it. And it's not coming to the English side anyway, so it's not going to be seen up for the English meta. For what I think they might hit on the next Japanese ban list based on the results we've been getting for this, which I'm going to fully address further once we've actually finished up the Deluxe Cup series, I do feel that we are going to end up seeing a youth back hit, because it is starting to get a bit dominating. And it's not showing much variety when most teams at this point are having one youth Berk and one Abisu. But that's it for this video. If you haven't done so already, please do like, comment, subscribe. It very much does help the channel. Stupidly close now to that 500, just a little bit further to go. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye bye.